Hey everybody. So today I kind of wanted to showcase a handful of my um, Tone Morgan dollars that I have on hand. I know I haven't made a video in a while, but I've just been busy with school and kind of life and work in general. But I want to get it back into the swing of things. I forgot about it for a little while, but um, ready to kind of get back on track and make this a semi-regular thing. But today I didn't want to do anything crazy. Just wanted to showcase a handful of nice Morgans. Here we have an 1886 Philadelphia tape tone Morgan dollar. And if you're not familiar with what tape or tab toned Morgans are, or coins in general are, with tab toning, it used to be a form of an old type of holder or an old type of album. And there was a cardboard strip that held the coin in place while it was being on display through the different pages. And so the strip that's blast white is the piece that was in contact with that cardboard, and the piece and all the area of coloration around it was the parts that weren't in contact with the cardboard. And the cardboard had, sulfides or sulfates, which is one of our biggest proponents of toning, but this one's kind of a really simple one. Today we'll kind of go from bottom to top. But what's really interesting about this piece, I don't know if this is a fingerprint or what's going on, or different, striations in the die, but it's kind of those vertical lines by states in the D of United. Just kind of an interesting, talking point. And but it's got really nice coloration, purples and kind of rusty colorations, decent luster too. Probably a mid-grade Morgan. Next up we have an 1889 MS64 NGC Morgan dollar. It's got some really nice coloration on the obverse. It's kind of those yellows and oranges and hints of that blue, especially in the top left of a pluribus. Probably agree with the 64 grade as well. There's not, a ton of marks in the cheek, but definitely enough to hold it back from a 65. Decent open field though, especially below, the jaw and the neck. You don't get that too often, and behind the hair as well. In the reverse, it's actually kind of a little bit, less tone than the obverse, but I guess the type of toning is kind of what we're really trying to showcase here today. It's got a lot lighter coloration, very khaki colors, and there is a big gash over here. I don't know if you call that a gash. I guess it's kind of up to your interpretation. Just below the eagle's wings and by the arrow tips and between the wreath. But it's not too distracting. The luster definitely kind of helps bring your eye around the coin and doesn't bring too much attention to that. But a nice example if you just want something to showcase in your collection about what the type of toning is, and how to explain it and how it came about. I'll actually do that one later. Next up we have an 1884 NGC MS64 Morgan. This one's kind of got that similar yellows and on the obverse, but it's got more green in it than anything. And these New Orleans Morgan dollars didn't have the best streak. We can see a lot of weakness right above the those few strands of hair by the ear, and especially along the rim. The stars and the denticles definitely kind of start to flatten out and blend in. That's not uncommon with this date, or not this date, but this mint. A lot of the New Orleans Morgan dollars are flatly struck. Like, look, you can even see a lot of these curls in the hair. They start to blend in together, you know, up the denticles, up by the rim. Still nice color though. That's kind of what we're here for, right? So the reverse, what's really interesting about this one, you know, next video we'll get into terminal toned coins, but you can see the blast white through the center and the chest of the eagle, but all above, you know, above the neck and the tips of the wings and below the legs is this really dark color, even with all this luster, you know, even if we, as much as we turn it, you know, that luster still flows through this dark coloration. But what's really interesting about this is just how striking this contrast is between our blast white center and our terminal toned devices. And that's a lot. You can see all between, you know, In God We Trust and in states, and it's really nice to be able to see the different bands and kind of the structure of what type of toning we should be looking at when we're looking at you know, legitimate color on Morgans, and how that, you know, a professionally graded coin compared to a raw coin, and what, you know, things that they're able to accept, and how that coloration flows over the devices, because that's kind of one of the you know, the telltale signs on how to make sure that your toning is legitimate. And one other thing that I kind of wanted to point out, I almost forgot, is, you know, a sneak peek to some other videos that we'll touch on. Is that this Morgan's probably a VAM. I haven't taken the time to get through it. You know, you see the O for the New Orleans mint mark. It's kind of very filled and not really defined. And so I know there's a bunch of filled O varieties and VAMs. So maybe I'll end up taking the time to kind of look that one up. But next up, we're going to look at this 1879S MS63 Morgan dollar. What's really nice about these 1879S's in, I guess, the 80s and 81s as well, is that they're always really flashy. You know, San Francisco Mint did it, you know, was really, I guess, more strict and more adamant about polishing their dies and making sure that coins were more up to, you know, a higher quality, a higher standard. That's why you're able to get a lot more you know, higher grades and for a lot cheaper compared to other dates and other mints. But this one's just really bright luster, really nice coin, semi-proof like obverse. We're gonna get a semi-proof like reverse as well. It's really interesting seeing all the different coloration popping through when we're bringing in light. It's really hard to photograph this one and get this to come across on video because our white balance gets all kind of thrown off, but it's a bunch of blues, a bunch of ambers and burnt oranges, and this one also has a lot of die polish marks. So those are those vertical lines we can see in the field between the wreath as well as the wing of the eagle, and kind of comes down this way, you know, along the wreath and by the S for the San Francisco mint mark. Just really nice colors, really bright piece. Definitely always something to look at. And last but not least, we looked at single sided tab tone, tape tone, mostly tab tone Morgan dollars, but now we'll look at a dual-sided one. An 1884 MS63 NGC holder, and this one's got some really bright colorations. A lot of the those blues and magentas are kind of one of the hardest colors to come by, just because they have such a short stability compared to all these ambers and oranges, and even you know, those darker black terminal colors. They have a longer kind of stage where they're able to kind of set their hold. This one got really bright, had a glistening luster on both sides of the coin. Another interesting spot is this, I guess it'd be almost like a fingerprint right by the nose of Liberty. Just kind of adds some character and some almost flow lines. And this is another thing. If we look at kind of how this color comes across the devices, and across this hair, across the face, how everything's not kind of linear and even, and that's always something to kind of look out for. If you see really straight and fine lines, it's not something that should obviously have that. That's always kind of something to be wary of. But I've also got another set of, I think, 4 now of uniquely toned Morgan dollars. I really haven't seen anything else out there like it. So if you're interested in that, just let me know and I can make a video on it. I don't have a problem showcasing those coins. I could talk about them all day. Other than that, if you got any other thoughts on what you want me to showcase or talk about, I've got some other ideas coming up as far as VAMs, varieties, even some blow balls, maybe possibly CAC as well, but we'll see. Other than that, that's pretty much it, everybody. Number ones are my favorites are Tone Morgans, if you couldn't guess. But that'll be the end of the video for the day, and I hope you have a great day.